right, we are back with another Market Minnow. Gio Acosta, as always, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Jimmy. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Let's dive into it, man. It is summer. Temperatures are heating up. We are recording this at the very start of July, and it's been a heat wave here. How is the real estate market? Is it heating up as well?
It's hot, man. It
Yeah.
is. It is hot for sure.
That's awesome. I mean, tell us about it. Like, what's going on? Where are you seeing, it heating up?
Yeah, what's funny is like we talk a lot about real estate being local, and there's some parts of the country where things have cooled down, but in our area, it's really hot. I mean, we have obviously people from Jersey, people from New York that tend to migrate over for a little bit more affordability, and I think that sort of keeps things where they're at.
I'm going to interrupt you real quick. So, my parents are selling all of my memories and my childhood home. They put it on the market, less than a week ago, and it sold that weekend. And you're right, the buyers came from New York, and it's a young couple, and they have a lot of cash, and they made a full price cash offer, and it's off the market now. Like it must be hot out there.
Yeah, what I mean, think about it, man. The median home sales in these areas is maybe a studio apartment in some of these big cities like New York, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that that keeps the pressure really a lot on the market. People are fleeing, with rates still being elevated, people flee for affordability and I mean, it's a short trip to New York, right?
Yeah, yeah. So what are rates doing? You said that they're still kind of elevated. I've got my beard here. This is supposed to lower rates. Is it working? Where are we?
It lowered it a tad, yeah. So, I mean, we got back-to-back lower rates.
Okay.
Last month, when we checked in, it was 7%. It's 6.875 now. So that the six, I think we talked about a few meetings ago, like maybe back in February when rates were in the sixes, that it's a big psychological thing for people, I think, to hear six. We
Yeah.
heard eight at some point in the not too distant past, and it's been sevens for most of the year. So even though it's high sixes, it feels good, I think, to hear six. And
Yeah, for
it's the
sure.
first time we've had those two consecutives. So it's good. Yeah, I think it's a really good time.
That's awesome. I mean, days on market, like what else are you seeing? What other, data points can you hit for us?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, your parents' place moved pretty fast. So part of days on market is going to be pricing the property right. But there's obviously trends too. And
Hmm.
what we always see, or not always, but what we're seeing right now at least, is the higher price point properties sit a little bit longer, right? There's fewer buyers for those.
Hmm.
Rates impact those payments a lot more than they would on a smaller scale. So like I pulled up one of the markets, I think I looked at Bethlehem, if the house is a million or more, the average days on market are around like 70 plus days on market.
Wow.
And then as you come down, the 500, 550 range, it's 24 days. You go into
Wow.
the mid 300s, you're 14 days. I mean,
Yeah.
if you can
That's
find a $200,000 home, it's about 7 days. So
that's
it
crazy.
it kind of shows you how that works out, you know?
So it sounds like there's, a wealth of maybe first-time home buyers trying to get in there. It's just hard to find the inventory, but when it does come, they're ready to kind of scoop it up and be there.
You got to be ready for it for sure. You got to get pre-approved. You got to kind of know what you want because you go to a place, and if you're at the lower price point in your market and you go into a place and you're going to wait a week or two to make a decision, that might be gone by then.
Yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. How do you get pre-approved? I hear that all the time. Like, what are the steps to actually do that?
I mean, it all starts with reaching out to a local mortgage broker, having just a
Hmm.
very brief sort of informal conversation, kind of figuring out, what your goals are and what you want and making sure it's a good fit. And then there's
Yeah,
like an application and, you go through that process, you gather some documents together depending on your situation and how your application sort of comes together. And the broker will issue you a pre-approval. So they issue you a document basically saying, hey, we did our due diligence. This is sort of ready to go. And when done correctly, it's beautiful because you go into a property, we already have you in theory qualified.
Right.
And now we're just worried about the property. Like, is the property worth what you're offering? Is the property
Yeah.
in the condition that it needs to be? And we're not really concerned about, can we get you qualified now that we're on a a quick shot clock to get this thing done.
Right. So get pre-approved. That's the moral of the story here.
Get pre-approved
Don't
for
mess
sure.
around.
Do not mess
Yeah,
around.
like we've said, there's no time. Like you've got to be on it when it's there, or else you're not going to get it. So do all the things you can to make sure you're ready to go.
And there are a lot of, especially in some price points, right? You're still getting, like, I think you had mentioned to me off camera that your parents had accepted a cash offer. So
Yeah.
if you're not pre-approved, that puts you even way further in the line, So,
Hmm.
it's hard sometimes to compete with cash, but if you have a solid pre-approval that you can close within a short period of time, and the broker or the lender can let the realtor know, like, hey, we've done our due diligence. This is ready to move forward. This is ready to close. We see people, depending on the offer, being able to compete.
Yeah. No, that's great. All right. So it is hot out there, and the market is hot. Any tips? Anything you want to leave us with? You usually come, with good tips for our home or something like that. Anything you got?
Yeah, I think for a little bit we were talking about just things to kind of make the house a little nicer, a little like tips and tricks, things to fix up, and
Yeah.
we got into affordability, and I think this is maybe one. I was thinking of something that kind of hits both. We talked about cabinets, so I think like a nice kitchen makeover
Cabinets?
might just
Wait,
be doing
before
cabinets.
you, cabinets are expensive, man.
Super expensive.
Yeah, my wife, like Trish, is all about it, and she's looking for them. And I'm like, you can go pick the money tree, but I don't know where we're getting the money for these cabinets.
That's it. You got to sand the ones you have and get them painted. So you sand them and paint them and get some new hardware. They look like new. I've seen a couple before and afters, and it's amazing.
That's
I mean, it's amazing. Yeah.
that's great because ours look like the light, wood color that I feel like was really big in the early 2000s. But you're right. If you throw a coat of paint on there, you could make it way more modern.
Yeah, there's definitely like a technique to it. I would say I don't know about
Throwing a coat.
DIYing your own cabinets, but
Yeah,
I've seen some really affordable prices where, for a tenth of the price that you would pay to get new cabinets, you could make your kitchen look completely different. So I think
that's
it's a
awesome.
really good cheap recommendation to make. Yeah.
Good. I'm gonna take that to Trish. Thank you. Awesome. Well, I'm hoping July keeps, staying hot for you. Maybe we can get the temperature down a little bit, but I hope rates come down and the market stays hot for you.
Yeah, I hope you could keep the beard in that heat because it's doing good for us.
Good. I'm gonna do my best for you.
All right, I appreciate you, Jimmy.
Absolutely. See you, Gio.
All right, nice always.